Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I hope you're doing well. This week, we are starting the book of Exodus, the second book of the Torah, in Hebrew called Shemot. And it's called Shemot because Shem means name, Shemot is plural names, and we're introduced to all the tribes of Israel. All Joseph's brothers are listed. Quick recap: the Jewish people, at least Jacob's lineage, and all of Joseph's brothers have been living in the land of Egypt. They have succeeded. They've been fruitful and they've multiplied. And then a new pharaoh rises up, and he sees the Jews are succeeding. And classic taxes are put upon the Jewish people. Their lives, they're given backbreaking work. It's like, can't be too successful. We're not here for that. And of course, then one of Pharaoh's advisors, one of his astrologers, tells him that one of a Hebrew baby boy will rise up and destroy him, unseat him from his throne, or just destroy him. And so what does Pharaoh decide is the right thing to do? He decides that he should kill all Hebrew baby boys. And of course, this is where our hero Moshe enters. So Moshe was born to Amram and Yocheved, who are from the tribe of Levi, the tribe of Levi. Moshe is born during this crazy time. And he's birthed, and he is kept for 3 months until Yocheved can no longer hide him. What we're thinking, what the commentary kind of tells us is that it wasn't that Yocheved was trying to pretend that she wasn't pregnant anymore. Yocheved was literally protecting him from being discovered. And then, of course, we learn famously that she goes and puts Moshe in a basket, covers him in dirt and mud, and puts him in the Nile. So I don't know. As a kid, I always thought, I guess she was just sending him out into the world, whatever the world, wherever you end up is going to be better than this place where they're killing baby boys. Probably not. Our commentary tells us that she probably was just putting him in a safe place until she could come back and get him while she was being inspected if she was pregnant or not anymore. But of course, that's not how we kind of interpret it. So Moshe's little basket floats down the Nile. Miriam watches it, and she sees that he is taken by the daughter of Pharaoh, who is named in the Torah as Bat El. And this is because Bat El, the daughter of Pharaoh, takes Moshe as if he is hers. And so God gives this beautiful name to her, even though she is not Bat El, daughter of God. She has given a second chance to a Hebrew, and it's kind of a beautiful sort of sharing of beautiful names and that sort of thing. So Moshe rises up and is in the court of Pharaoh. He perhaps knows that he's a Hebrew. Perhaps he learned at some point that these Jewish people who are given a lot of hardships, who are being given backbreaking labor, who are essentially becoming slaves, that those people are his people. But anyway, he grows up and he goes out and he sees one day that there is an old Hebrew man being worked so hard, and the text tells us that he looks to one side and looks to the other and sees that there was no man. And so he strikes the Egyptian down who was hurting the Hebrew. Just intellectually, my interpretation is that he looked to see if there's anyone there who could see what he was doing. No, truthfully, what he was doing, he was looking to see if there was anyone else who was going to help this guy. And that's kind of something that we have to think about in our own lives. We're going to get to that. That's the point. So Moshe looks to the left and to the right, doesn't see anyone, and he decides that he has to take control. And he strikes down the Mitzri, the Egyptian, and kills him. And then Moshe freaks out and he runs and flees to the desert of Midian. And while he's in the desert, he ends up famously by the burning bush. And God speaks to him through the burning bush. And there's a lot of really beautiful Torah there as well. God tells Moshe, you are going to save your people. And Moshe says, no, I have a speech impediment. I'm not good with words. And God says, am I not the person who decides whether or not you have words or not? Am I not the one who decided these things? Am I not the one who decided how you were going to be? I'm not telling you this because I don't know anything about you. I'm telling you this because I know all these things about you. Okay, so here are the 3 things that we learned from this parsha. The first one is Pharaoh is trying to outrun his destiny, outrun what was meant to be in the journey of life. And he killed every single Hebrew baby boy except for the one who was going to actually unseat him. What does this tell us? You cannot outrun what is meant to be. And it's futile to try. In fact, it just causes a lot of destruction in its wake. And we honestly just have to take what life has thrown at us and turn it into turn it into a happiness for ourselves. Second thing is that when there's no one around to stand up and do the right thing, you should stand up and do the right thing. However, we should stand up and do the right thing even if there are others around. Of course, we know this is a famous the bystander effect. When we see something happening and there's others around, you're like, well, someone else should do it. It's easier sometimes when you know that no one else is going to to be helping, to stand up and do the right thing. And the third thing we learn is that anytime any sort of impediment or lacking that we think we have is not an impediment or a lacking. It's a gift from God. Someone who has trouble focusing perhaps is going to be amazing at a lot of different types of skills. Someone who isn't that great at reading is more of an artist. Someone who is more who's like really good at numbers is not such a people person, but they're really good at numbers. Like everything that we are given, it's not a lacking, it's just like sort of a direction into something else. And of course, a leader of any kind, if you want to be a leader, you're not the right person to be a leader. They say that the people who are meant to be presidents do not want to be presidents, and the people who want to be presidents are not meant to be presidents. That if you want that sort of power, there's something in you that's not quite right. And Moshe he's known for being just extremely humble. Anav is the word. Moshe is the most anav person, the most humble person. And him having these like inherent disabilities, speech impediment, not being good with words, it is really inspirational, because it's not like they're picking like the strongest, most handsome, best speaking guy. They're picking the one who is going to lead the Jewish people best. And perhaps it's because you have to have someone who understands people, who has empathy and who has their own struggles, to be a true leader and not be someone just looking out for their own ego. So 3 things: you can't outrun your faith. You have to stand up and do the right thing, whether or not there's people there around you. And the third thing is, your lackings are not lackings. The things that you have been given are things that are godly ordained, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful idea. Shabbat Shalom. I wish you well, and God willing, I'll see you next week.